UFC Fight Night Paris, Imavov versus BORRALHO just took place like an hour ago. One of the best cards in 2025. We got 8 picks right, and we got 5 wrong. For those that have like ADHD and can't stand disorder, that gap between Bukowskis and McGee, that was supposed to be the Pitbull versus Losine Kieta fight, which was canceled because Losine Kieta can't make fucking weight. So we're going to move on. Let's just talk about the main event, okay? The main event, I predicted this down to a T. I knew it was going to be decision, and I knew Imavov was going to win. And it was an easy pick in hindsight because Caio Borralho was inactive, which I mentioned before. He weighed in for the backup fighter for DDP versus Chimaev. And I consider him to be the weakest link in the Fighting Nerds camp, besides Oleksiejczyk. He doesn't really count. He's Polish. Nasruddin Imavov, man. Great counter-striking. He's really good. The fucking fingers, man. He needs to keep his fingers down. I hated the eye pokes, but Caio Borralho did do some nut shots to Imavov. The question is, can Imavov beat Chimaev? With this great performance that he had, still, the answer is no. Imavov cannot beat Chimaev, but now they're probably going to book that fight. That's the fight next. You know, Borralho had some very lazy and slow takedown attempts, and he couldn't take him down once. Like, the first takedown attempt of the fight, it was really slow. Chimaev is much faster with his shoots, and he dips down really low. So, I still see Chimaev. I see Chimaev taking down anybody. The question with Imavov is he going to be surviving on his back against Chimaev? And I still say no. But, you know, he's going to be like the number 1 contender. So they have to book that fight. Chimaev has to fight his contenders, defend his belt. And we're going to move on. It's going to be Imavov. Chechnya versus Dagestan. I know he's French, but, you know, he was born in Dagestan. It's crazy, man. Caucasus taking over. They're just completely taking over everything. They really are. But hey, you know, Imavov, he's not a Merab. He's not a Chimaev. He's got some striking, so you can't really complain. Pillow-fisted, for sure. He's pillow-fisted, but you can't complain. Co-main event, BSD versus Mauricio Rufy. I picked Rufy. I think a lot of people picked Rufy. And this is why I love this sport, because it is unpredictable. People forget, you know, BSD, he's a good grappler. It's just that the fight with Moicano kind of negated all that in my head because it was such a beatdown. It was such a dominant performance from Moicano. Rufy, he was surviving the takedowns at first, but Benoit, he was just relentless. He kept pushing for it. I was hoping for some more knees, some uppercuts. Rufy had to be more proactive, and he just wasn't. And he taps out. BSD is back. He's back, baby. The God of War is back. He is redeemed. He is not going to be the bitch that I thought he was. Who can he fight next? And obviously, the only fight that makes sense for BSD right now is Mateusz Gamrot. There is no other fight that makes sense. Do you want to see him versus Chandler? Because I don't. I don't care for Chandler. Cut Chandler. He's old. Retire him already, okay? Mateusz Gamrot, grappler versus grappler. That is the fight to make. And I can't remember what rank Gamrot is. I think he's like number 9 or 10 or something. Do that fight. And if BSD wins that fight, then all of a sudden, you're looking at a true contender coming back. He looked improved in this performance. He really did. He looked more aggressive. You know, with the Kyle Prepelic fight, he kind of looked timid and shy still. But this fight, he looked like the BSD of old. And I feel sad for Rufy because he was probably one of my favorite fighting nerds. I think he was my favorite fighting nerd. I loved his style. I loved his striking. The lawn top, no look, knockdown. The spinning wheel kick against Bobby Green. But it sucks. He'll be back, though. He'll be back. He'll fight another unranked guy, and he'll probably beat him. He's young. Who cares? You know, I'm still going to like his fights. Bukowskis versus Paul Craig. Paul Craig retires after Bukowskis, at the last second, right when the bell rings, throws a hellbow. Not an elbow, a hellbow. And he cuts Paul Craig bad, and it was such a bad elbow, he just gets knocked out. They stop the fight. He's bleeding from it profusely. He doesn't move. Brutal fucking knockout, man. Modestas Bukauskas on a 4-fight win streak at this point. He wants somebody in the top 15. He should get somebody in the top 15, but who could it be? Who should it be? They could do Zhang Ming Yang. They could do that one, but they're probably going to do Nikita Krylov. Nikita Krylov's off 2 back-to-back knockouts. Krylov is, I think, ranked 13 right now. They should just do that one, get it over with, get him in the rankings, and after he beats Krylov, then put him up against somebody in the top 10. That's my opinion. But a great win from Modestas Bukauskas. The Paul Craig fans, the Paul Craig stands, man. It's over. Paul Craig is done. People forget he beat Magomed Ankalaev and he beat Jamal Hill, 2 light heavyweight champions. And he also beat Kennedy Nezuchukwu. People forget, man. Paul Craig, Bear Jew Craig. It's over for Paul Craig. Sad. I picked Bellagioki. I didn't think Mason Jones looked good in the Jeremy Stevens fight. Plus, I gave him some extra melanin points, but it didn't come in handy. He had a good first round. But damn, that was a good first round just for both guys, because that Kimura attempt, that was scary. Mason Jones enters the second round, takes him down, slices him with the elbows, TKO finish. Good win for Mason Jones. These Welsh guys, man, looking back on it, you can't really discount the Welsh guys, because the Welsh guys, there's something about them. I know it's a Western country, but there's something about them that they do have some kind of toughness to them. They do. Not all of them, but Mason Jones, he's a tough guy. Good win for Mason Jones. Bellagioki, what can I say? Belgium. I don't know what's next for Bellagioki. I don't really care. Mason Jones, who could he fight? Ribovich, I guess. They could do Ribovich. Unless they probably want to put Ribovich against a ranked guy at this point, because he's like on a decent win streak, I think. No, he's not. Whatever. Axel Sola versus Rise McGee. I picked Rise McGee. Didn't I? I did, right? Yeah, I picked Rise McGee. I didn't know anything about this Axel Sola guy. I saw it was his UFC debut. I consider white French people to be slightly inferior to Irish people. So that's why I really picked Rise McGee. He's been in the UFC for a while. He's had a few fights. I didn't trust Alex Sola, but he gets it done in the third round. He had a good lead 1-2. He comes in fast with the 1-2, and he popped Rise McGee's head back. I think it fractured his nose or something, or Rise McGee was bleeding profusely from his nose. So, yeah, good win from Axel Sola. I'll be paying attention to him. I don't think he makes it far, but good win nonetheless. Umar Sy versus Brenson Ribeiro. Easy pick for Umar Sy. Brenson Ribeiro is one of the worst light heavyweights. Besides Tuco Tacos and now Junior Tafa, he is one of the worst light heavyweights. He gets knocked out by everybody at this point. Zhang Ming Yang, Azamat Mirzakhanov, and now Umar Sy. And Umar Sy I consider to be quite bad himself. He's got a good body. Like Umar Sy, he's built. He's got like the best genetics. But I can't trust Umar Sy. I can't trust you, bro, when you have that horrible performance where you're just getting snake charmed by Alonzo Menafield where nothing happens. Alonzo Menafield isn't really a good fighter, so he's not going to make it far. It was a good win, but Brenson Ribeiro is going to be beaten by a lot of light heavyweights. We move on. Tybura versus Ante Delija. I picked Tybura because the last time I picked a fighter to win in his UFC debut in the heavyweight division was Marcus Buchecha against Martin Buday. I picked Marcus Buchecha against that fight, and I should have picked Martin Buday because, that was Buchecha's debut, and I was thinking the same thing. Marcin Tybura, he's a veteran of the sport. He fraud checks a lot of people that come up. Ante Delija, his UFC debut, I think most people picked Tybura, but it was a pick'em fight. I didn't know Ante Delija was training with Tom Aspinall's team. Maybe I should do deeper research. Maybe I am a casual. Maybe, I'm not the expert that I like to say that I am. Delija, first round knockout. He hits hard. He hits hard, but he's 35 and he's got a lot of injuries in the past. Does he make it that far in the heavyweight division? Maybe. I mean, he's never going to beat, like somebody like Volkov, or I don't even think Cyril Gane. Book him up against Curtis Blades, because Curtis Blades has fought everybody in like the top 5, and there's no more fights for Curtis Blades, so just do that fight. Blades versus Delija. That's the fight to make. We move on. Harry Hardwick versus Cal Fernandez. Harry Hardwick took this fight on short notice. You just know Joe Rogan was jerking off to this fight back in Texas, in his cave, in his man cave. He was jerking off to this fight. Oh, those leg kicks. Oh my God, that calf is fucked. It's so swollen. Oh, he's hitting him with the leg kicks. Where's Benson Henderson? Did you know Benson Henderson perfected the calf kick? Did you know that? How many times does he say it? Cal Fernandez just chops the legs down. What else is there to say? We don't get many leg kick TKOs, but when we do, they're satisfying. Cal Fernandez, he's a weird dude. He looks weird. I don't like his mannerisms. Whatever. Sam Peterson versus Trey Waters. 2 lanky welterweights. Trey Waters is listed as 6'5", but they were like the same height. They're probably 6'3". They're both 6'3". I don't think Trey Waters is 6'5", unless they're both 6'5". But Sam Peterson is listed as 6'3". Peterson knocks him out. Tall, lanky welterweight. This is his fourth fight win streak, so that's good. Put him up against a ranked guy now. It's time to move Sam Patterson up in the welterweight division. Put him up against, well, no, Kevin Holland's fighting Mike Malott, isn't? Yeah. Put him up against Gilbert Burns, just so he can have a 5-fight win streak. That's what they need to do. Just feed him Gilbert Burns. Get Gilbert Burns out of there. After Gilbert Burns loses, cut him from the UFC because he's completely washed. And yeah, Brad Tavares versus Robert Bryzek. Robert Bryzek lost to Ihor Potieria, and that is why I picked Brad Tavares. Who could really know? I mean, Brad Tavares is a veteran. He's a scrappy fighter when he gets into it, but he is old. And Robert Bryzek, I didn't know this, but that Ihor Potieria fight was like in early of 2024. If I had done more research and I wasn't a casual, I probably would have picked Robert Bryzek and gotten that pick right. Yeah, I would have gotten the first 5 right if I was more smart. But let's move on to the fight, my best pick of the card. Andreas Gustafsson versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. Yes, I did pick Rinat Fakhretdinov, as you can see there. And I'm glad that I did. The reason why I picked Rinat Fakhretdinov is because Swedes are from a weak culture. They just are. And I know he's got neo-Nazi tattoos. Did you know that? Andreas Gustafsson, I just found that out like 30 minutes ago. He's got like lots of neo-Nazi tattoos, and he has had to like cover them up. But yeah, Swedes are they're a weak culture. They're a weak race. Rinat Fakhretdinov, he looks like a mixture between like a Mongolian and a Russian, like an Eastern European type of person, a white Russian. And that's what he is. He's like from the Golden Horde area, from Kazan. Kazan is like the capital of like where the Golden Horde congregated. That's like the Mongol Empire that conquered Russia. So he's one of those guys, one of these steppe Mongolian Giga Chads. And I just knew if I had to pick between one of these guys, I'm going to pick the steppe guy over the Swede. What are Swedish men known for? Protesting their government, wanting more Somalis and Iraqis into their country. That's what Sweden is. It's an open border liberal country that will cease to exist in 200 years' time because it's just going to be a Muslim caliphate after they are outbred. That's what's going to happen. I can't pick a guy from that country. I can't. Oh, but what about Alexander Gustafsson? He was good. Yeah, but I wasn't making videos back when he was fighting, and he still lost. He still got knocked out a lot. There's another guy from Sweden whose name I forget. The guy that fought Ibo Aslan, I'm pretty sure it was. He lost to Ibo Aslan. Let me see his name. What is his name? It's not Stolfus. Stolfus is the German guy, I'm pretty sure. Him, Anton Turkalj, Sweden. Another. Look at it. Look at that little face. That is the face of a prey animal, not a predator. That is a face that will be devoured by wolves and by Muslim gigachads. Look, 4 losses in a row. Why do you pick Swedish fighters? They're gonna lose. Oh, but he beat Chaos Williams. He looks so good against Chaos Williams. Here's the thing. Styles make fights. Chaos Williams was a pure striker. Rinat Fakhretdinov, he's got grappling experience. And he didn't even need to show it. He just knocked him out. And the shot that he hit him with, it wasn't even that strong. He just gave up. And he curled into a ball. That is a Swedish cuckold right there. The picture that I'm about to show you, that picture on the overlay, that is the average Swedish man. And no, I'm not bullshitting you. That is legitimately a guy from Sweden. Refugees are welcome. I want African refugees to come to my wife's house. That's the average Swedish dude. And if you're Swedish, you know that I'm right. I know a little bit about Swedish culture. The Swedes, the men, they're so shy they can't even approach their own women. They're just shy. They have to let the women approach them. That's pathetic, man. That's pathetic. Shauna Bannon versus Sam Hughes. I picked Sam Hughes. Shauna Bannon, she got head kicked by that Indian bitch Pooja Tomar. She looked horrible in that fight, and she escaped with an armbar. I knew Sam Hughes was going to win because Sam Hughes looks like an ugly, butchy lesbian that does some mad scissoring. I picked the woman that is uglier, that looks more like a man. And I got it right. And to be honest, I didn't even watch that fight. The first fight I watched was this one. I didn't even watch this fight. I couldn't care. I just watched the highlight on Twitter, so... yeah, it was a great card. Great card. Do BSD versus Mateusz Gamrot. Do it, UFC. And then do Imavov versus Chimaev for January. It's not like Chimaev took a lot of damage in that fight. It was just a grappling... it was like a sparring session with DDP. Imavov will be fine and healthy. Imavov didn't take any big shots either. Modestas Bukauskas, do him against Nikita Krylov. Mason Jones, I don't know. Mason Jones, is this like a 2-fight win streak now? Don't care. Axel Souza, don't care. Whoever they book him against. Umar Sy, light heavyweight. Do Umar Sy versus Zhang Ming Yang. Just do it. Ante Delija versus Curtis Blades, you get the idea. Rinat Fakhretdinov. I'm a big Rinat Fakhretdinov fan, and I will keep picking him in matchups that I see he's going to win. The Carlos Leal fight was unfortunate, but hey, he still got the win. It's a win on the record, so that's all I got for you. If you're Swedish and you're mad at me, make sure to comment so that I can indulge in your hatred. Okay, I love hate comments, so subscribe, and peace out, motherfuckers.